Okay, so basically, obviously I've moved into an area now where it's about something called the subconscious, and the Ouija aspect is just another way of connecting and communicating with that point. Prayer is just another form, as I mentioned in my last video. However, in this sense, whereas prayer the one way, sort of, you say what you say, cast it out there to the universe, to your particular concept of God, and somewhere down the line it gets answered in some way. But with with the Ouija, it's more hands-on, it's more direct. There's an actual conversation going on which is happening in the moment. So in that aspect it can connect. It's a device or a tool which can connect quite well for that purpose. So I found the book. It was right behind me here on the piano keyboard, and I just wanted to sort of show some it's hard to see, no, probably it's hard to say. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll turn it around so I can see what's coming through the camera here. Okay, that's a bit of light on the subject. We can see there I've got the basic symbols next to them, their meanings. This was like the decoder, because, as I say, I don't memorise very many of them, and there's pages of them. So, as I said in my other videos, it's like this was I was encouraged through this communication process to create symbols. At the time I didn't know what it was about, but as I've discovered in relation to the blindfold test and the idiomotor that science talks about, this in effect is a blind test, because I didn't know how, you can imagine we're doing communication, and as the glass stops on something, you stop, you have a look, and you write it down. It's a time-consuming process. It's well worth the effort, mind you, but nonetheless, it's time-consuming, and in that sense, you have to be pretty dedicated to even go there in that sense. But what it's taught me in relation to the blindfolding is that there's a simple little test, as Penn and Teller did, is not confirmation evidence that there's nothing to it. Put it aside, it's just a toy. Okay, which is what their conclusion came to. Apart from the fact that, of course, they were saying you're not connecting or entertaining spirits in some afterlife. More symbols were taken from tarot with the meanings next to them, and an example of pages of which obviously look like hieroglyphics. This is the communication record of what was some of what, obviously, as much as I've got 2 pages of it, it's nowhere near the whole aspect of the communications that we had over the months and years. It's just a small portion. And I'm flicking through them, as you can see. So it was like a little journal book in itself. Now, I'll show you my second glass, which I etched, communications glass. There it is. Quite complex. Now, if I can get in there, you can see the symbols there. See the camera in the background reflected in the mirror. So, you know, a lot of these symbols I don't know. Let's see if I can pick one out through this lens here, which I might. Well, this one's quite obvious. It's home. It's got to do with home, being inside, etc. This one underneath is actually unconditional love. I made up a lot of these for myself. There are others, as I said. I use runes and tarot symbols and religious symbols and any kind of symbols, really. That one there, it kind of expresses the we individual within the greater reality of the subconscious surrounding one. Anything else that jumps in? This is it kind of symbolises everything, meaning the universe. So there's quite a few in there. Well, that one's family, or you know, friends, and obviously they're a bit upside down in places. There's a K, M. So I've got the alphabet in there as well. You can see really, and that was modelled. This glass was modelled on the tarot card, the World Tarot card. I have like the lion in the corner here, and the bull in the corner there behind the man there. You can see that man, he's read a book and he's like, it's gone, whoa, you know, whoa, hey. This man here is looking at him, who's got a feather in his hand. He's a writing tool. He's looking at that man there, going, whoa, hey. That symbol in the middle's universal balance and harmony. So this symbol up here, if I can, it's pretty hard to, if I can move that a bit. No, it's hard. It's not so clear through here. I don't know how it'll turn out but it means world domination. That's the world, and on top of it's the bull, the horns, the bully. I'd like to talk more about that concept in relation to conspiracy theories and such. So, as you can see, very complex tool, a right tool for the job of communicating with something that is vastly deserving of something more than just an alphabet and a few letters and a few numbers and what have you. Well, look, show you that. It's the same style and a mirror etching, it's just artwork. So, sort of having shared those aspects, the writing in the book, the different Ouija boards, which I call universal intelligent communications devices, in an effort, in a way, to get away from the stigma of what Ouija is. But then, having said that, I am calling these videos Ouija Principle. So I'm back within the stigma of the Ouija, because it is a principle. In a way, there's a humorous side to all of this. While people are using them for connecting with their, in general, I think a lot of people are using them just to connect with the afterlife, their relatives, their loved ones, and to converse because they miss them and all the rest of it. There's an aspect or an element of people, a section of people who use them for entertainment, to see what spooky stuff can be got from all this. And then you hear the stories of how some don't ever return to that. And I can understand the stigma involved with this, because I understand the abilities of the subconscious. The subconscious, as I've explained, when we think of subconscious, we think of it in terms of individuality. We have a subconscious. I have a subconscious. You have a subconscious. What is the subconscious? I have explained in the model, in the sense that the subconscious is, let's say, like the symbol I showed, where it surrounds the individual. If you look at every individual, like on the planet, it surrounds the planet. is that science? Can I scientifically verify it? Hey, how does subjective experience work in and sync together in synchronicity the objective experience? You explain that scientifically to me, Mr. Scientist, Mrs. Scientist, Miss Scientist, Master Scientist, Professor Scientist. You see, I appreciate science because I think religion deals with belief, science deals with the truth, which in a sense, another way of saying the truth is the fact of the matter. Religion with the belief cannot confirm its fact, but it still believes it's fact because, as I've been saying, its religion has moved into that subconscious realm, whereas science is sort of more interested in the truth of physical, what it can prove to be. I'm suggesting here it's more than a suggestion really, it's a claim in a sense, that the science behind Ouija is an instrument in which we can connect with this thing we are calling the subconscious. Some call it the superconsciousness. In a sense, subconscious can be what's in the individual, which is the same substance as the superconsciousness, which I'm talking about surrounding the planet. We could argue surrounding the galaxy. It's not here nor there in that sense. What is the point is that if there is a subconscious and it is able to communicate, then why don't we allow it to have its say? Really? Speak for itself, not through religion, not through gypsy tarot card readers, not through mediums which require someone to interpret what the experience is, what the message is, etc. There are ways. As I've explained, it's quite, and as it's obvious, it's quite. You need to have some kind of commitment to even study it and go through all of these processes, scientific processes. You have to have that kind of time and commitment to be able to do it, that kind of mental attitude. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. Time is precious and all that. But I have allowed that time to happen, and as a result I have learnt these things, and through the medium of the internet I can share it for whatever effect it might have. But the claim is, of course, is that it's a tool to really strongly suggest that there is more to this thing we call subconscious than we're willing to normally investigate. And I got one person interested for a little while, and I uploaded my list to her, and then we communed through this random process I'm talking about, but instead of just being me, there was someone else. So our communion, we basically had 4 lists alternating, and there was the definite messages coming through there. And I'm of the strong opinion that if science was interested enough in it, there could be ways of improving that technique beyond what I'm able to do as this individual. But as more individuals could take up this process, simplify it, modify it, build upon it, I am sure we'll get the message, and I'm sure the message will be the same. And that is the objective aspect. When the message is the same, then we know we're on the same page. We can move from there. Thank you.